It's the moment before the walk number 4, Cape Kennedy, dawn before Apollo 11, 1969. History remembers this day in sunlight, but this moment happens in the dark. It's pre-dawn, Cape Kennedy, when Florida is still half asleep and the Atlantic breathes slowly against the shore. The sky hasn't decided what it wants to be yet, just a thinning black stretched tight above the launch complex. Floodlights carve pale islands out of the darkness. The Saturn V stands motionless, taller than certainty, wrapped in steam that drifts and reforms like a nervous thought. This is where we are in time. Not a liftoff, not at the speech, but in the hour when nothing has happened yet and everything still can. The engineers are awake. They've been awake for a long time. Coffee cools untouched. Checklists are reread, not because anyone forgot, but because rereading feels like control. Machines hum softly, not loudly, not dramatically, just enough to remind everyone that they're alive. Somewhere inside the rocket, systems wait, valves hold, fuel chills, metal contracts in the early morning air. Elsewhere, the astronauts are waiting too, not pacing, not panicking, waiting. They've trained for years for a handful of minutes no one has ever lived through before. This is not the sound of triumph. It's the sound of restraint. Everyone thinks they know what comes next, either glory or fire or silence forever. Those are the three options history offers, even if no one says them out loud. If it works, humanity steps into another world and rewrites its sense of scale. If it fails, there's no rehearsal for explaining why. The public will see confidence, flags, smiles, perfect posture. But here, before the cameras, before the countdown, there's a quieter truth. No one has done this before. No one knows how it'll feel. No one knows what it'll mean. Because what's actually about to happen isn't just the launch, it's a departure. For the first time, humans are preparing to leave their home world, not briefly, not accidentally, but on purpose. There's no cultural muscle memory for this. There's no inherited wisdom, no ancient story to borrow comfort from. Every precious journey across oceans, continents, skies kept the earth beneath someone's feet. This one does not. And that changes everything, even if it takes decades to realize it. The human stakes sit quietly inside the math. Families are watching from living rooms, from bleachers, from across the world, holding breath they won't release until much later. Engineers know the numbers. They know the tolerances. They also know how little separates success from catastrophe. The astronauts understood something deeper still. Being first means being exposed. There's no precedent to hide behind, no earlier mistake to learn from, no one to blame but gravity and luck. Being first carries a cost that doesn't show up on mission patches. And that is why this walk begins here. Not in orbit, not on the moon, but in this quiet hour when humanity is still entirely earthbound and unsure whether it should be. The moon matters most before we reach it, when it's still distant, symbolic, unknowable, when it represents possibility rather than achievement. This walk listens for that uncertainty, for the low hum of machinery, for the soft scrape of boots on concrete, for the moment when the sky is still dark enough to feel honest. Because once the engines ignite, history accelerates. But right now, right here, everything is still balanced between hope and fire, between courage and calculation, between staying and stepping off the only world we've ever known. This is where the walk begins.